Holy mackerel, folks. They really hate each other now, and they cannot hide it anymore. The body language. My God, no amount of PR spin is going to deal with that. And there's this incredible moment that Revealing the Narc pointed out, actually, because do you remember Harry usually introduces his wife? Not last night. See her face. You get here, mate. But on stage, when they knew everyone was filming on their mobile phones and taking pictures, it got even worse.
Oh, the royal storm everyone's been waiting for has finally struck, and it hit harder than anyone expected. New York was meant to be Harry and Meghan's grand "we're still that power couple" weekend. You know, the polished smiles on the red carpet, the matching looks, and that silent message of "we're totally fine."
But what's so interesting is that he just doesn't seem to give a damn anymore.
But what the cameras actually caught was a royal disaster unfolding in slow motion. The couple arrived at the Humanitarian of the Year gala, where Meghan dazzled in a custom Armani power suit covered in diamonds worth more than a Manhattan penthouse. Meanwhile, Harry looked like he'd rather vanish than be there at all. The flashes exploded, Meghan lit up the cameras with her practice glow, and Harry's expression said everything, tighter than Buckingham Palace security itself.
Now, Meghan, the actress, of course, had to stick to the script. And so we had the absolutely hilarious speech where she's trying to talk about the need to protect children from social media.
Witnesses said the tension was so thick you could slice it with a sword. At one moment, Meghan tried to send Harry a playful look, but his strained smile barely escaped his lips. Later that evening, Meghan was seen dining alone, and according to insiders, their message was crystal clear.
The Duke literally giving her evil eyes during her speech. This is unraveling in real time in front of the world.
They had gone their separate ways, and this time it was literal. For a couple who once proudly called themselves salt and pepper because they were inseparable, this was the first public sign that something wasn't right. What was meant to be their big comeback moment ended up looking more like a preview of a breakup in motion.
But they can't even cover it up now at a major event, which, remember, is their Humanitarian of the Year moment.
Now, let's turn back the clock for a moment, because before New York came Paris, and that's where the cracks really began to show. Everyone knows Harry's connection to Paris runs deep and painful. It's the city tied forever to tragedy, the place where his mother, Princess Diana, lost her life.
He was having absolutely none of it. He walked ahead of her. He let him shake the gentleman's hand first. He didn't look back at her. Yes, he did put his arm around her back at one point to pose for photographs, but he's hardly going to push her away.
For decades, Harry avoided even stepping foot in Paris, haunted by its memories. So, when Meghan suddenly flew there alone for what she called a business trip, people couldn't help but raise their eyebrows. Reports say Harry was devastated, with insiders whispering that Meghan's visit wasn't just about meetings. She was seen filming near the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, the exact place where Diana's car crashed, the same spot that changed royal history forever.
This is not a portrait of a happy couple. And I think you can say that is the understatement of the year.
Let that sink in for a second. People close to Harry say he was overwhelmed with old trauma when he found out what Meghan had done. One friend said bluntly, she knew exactly what she was doing. Nothing about Meghan is ever accidental. Insiders claim she shrugged off the outrage, saying it was just work, but to Harry, it felt like pure betrayal dressed up as a professional move.
As you say, I think he's furious about what went on in Paris, but they couldn't cancel this event.
The city that haunted Harry's dreams had suddenly become the backdrop for his wife's self-promotion. From that point on, insiders say the walls began closing in around them. Meghan's ambition was turning into Harry's deepest fear, a spotlight he could never escape. The fame, the flashing cameras, the nonstop hunger for attention, it all came crashing down. And deep inside, Harry realized this wasn't just another argument, it was the moment something in him finally broke. Paris wasn't a getaway, it was the turning point of their story.
This control aspect that he and Meghan want to do. They want to control the narrative. They want to control what's put out in the media. They want to have full control of the propaganda.
Now let's talk about the other man. And no, not that kind of scandal. Well, not exactly. Enter the mysterious Marcus Anderson. If you followed Meghan for a while, you already know his name. Stylish, charming, and always by her side, too close, according to a few observers. From cozy Toronto brunches during her suits days to elegant Montecito dinners and even red carpet appearances, Marcus is always there like her personal good luck charm. He's always around, one royal insider revealed.
Harry and Meghan, everything is negative, and they always, strangely, like you said, there always seems to be this link going back to control of social media.
It's starting to feel like there are three people in that marriage: Harry, Meghan, and Marcus. And here's where things really heat up. Marcus isn't just a friend, he's a man with serious connections. The Soho House Circle, the Los Angeles elite, and the power players who can open doors faster than any palace ever could, that's his world. Meghan's loyalty to him isn't just personal, it's strategic. Meanwhile, insiders say Harry has had enough, and it shows.
And to me, I thought this was a very different looking Meghan. Did you feel that way too?
Friends say Harry feels like a guest in his own marriage, standing on the sidelines while Meghan builds a world where he no longer belongs. At glamorous events, when Meghan laughs and sparkles with Marcus and her Hollywood circle, Harry seems to disappear into the background. He was once her equal, her partner in everything. Now he's just the quiet plus one trailing behind the spotlight.
When I initially sent you some of these clips, did you go, wow, this isn't Bloomberg Meghan, this isn't With Love Meghan, this isn't the type of Meghan we typically see? Or am I just so caught off guard by the Obi-Wan Kenobi cape?
Every celebrity couple puts on a show sometimes, but Harry and Meghan have turned it into a full-blown performance art. Watch them walk onto any red carpet, she's radiant, posing and glowing as the cameras adore her. Meanwhile, Harry looks tense, scanning the exits like a man trapped in a never-ending nightmare he can't wake up from.
You haven't seen this behavior from her because she's been like, this is the authentic me. And this is what I'm not wearing makeup. And and she's talking these.
Those flashes of light, the very same kind that haunted his mother's final night, still make Harry flinch even now. But Meghan, she seems to crave them. There's a viral clip from the gala that says it all. Harry reaches out to hold her hand, but she gently pulls away, then turns to the cameras with that perfect practice smile. One insider put it harshly, saying, "She's in love with the camera, not the man beside her." People close to them describe it just as bluntly. The spark is fading fast.
She's mimicking what she's seeing. She's been watching all these people do this. And it's like anything else. If you don't have somebody instructing you on it in person, so when you mess up.
Harry despises the circus, but Meghan thrives on it. The lights, the gowns, the cheers, that's her oxygen. And every time she pulls him back into the spotlight, he seems to fade a little more. They're living in two separate worlds now. Meghan's fighting to stay relevant, while Harry's fighting to stay sane. The cruel irony is heartbreaking. The harder she chases the cameras, the more invisible he becomes. And when the night finally ends and the flashes fade, all that's left is a chilling silence. Two people in designer clothes, staring at the floor, wondering how their fairy tale turned into a photo op gone wrong.
You think she's like on TikTok or Instagram watching people she admires do these things, but she doesn't have any real world guidance.
Once upon a time, Harry and Meghan swore they were leaving the palace for freedom, sunshine, and peace. They dreamed of independence and privacy, but what they got was the complete opposite. When they packed up and settled in Montecito, they promised the world a brand new beginning. No royal rules, no ruthless tabloids, no drama. But fast forward a few years, and their fresh start looks more like a royal rerun with a glossy California filter. Insiders say Harry imagined a quiet life raising their children and supporting good causes. But Meghan, she had her own plans, and they were massive.
Where somebody can go, actually, don't make that face. Don't make that face. I like the walk. Don't make that face. Shift the face. Walk is fine.
Brand deals, speaking tours, a Netflix empire, and that ill-fated jam line, Meghan had it all lined up. A friend close to the couple hinted, "Now, let's talk about that shiny Humanitarian of the Year title, because the sparkle didn't last long." When Meghan and Harry accepted that award, the internet exploded, and not with praise, but with disbelief. The gloss faded faster than anyone expected, and the backlash was brutal.
I can so see her at home looping videos of like Angelina Jolie getting out of a car at a fashion show.
Yeah. And maybe one of her friends said, and do this. That's what I mean by somebody sat down and talked to her and
Critics demanded to know, humanitarian of what? Their foundation, Archwell, was meant to uplift communities and combat online hate, but insiders whisper a different story. Behind the glossy branding, meetings are rare, the structure is messy, and the mission seems lost. Word around the industry is that their activism has morphed into pure PR theater. They buy awards to stay relevant, one source claimed. It's not about helping, it's about headlines and keeping the spotlight burning.
I want you to look at this walk
right.
and tell me what your vibe is. Because my favorite comment online was, did she just have a hip replacement?
Even Harry's speech made people raise their eyebrows. He went on about powerful actors and corporate greed, all while living a life funded by luxury deals that could make a hedge fund blush. Meanwhile, Meghan treated the event like a fashion showcase, custom tailoring, sparkling diamonds, and a suite costing nearly $2,000 a night. The irony hit hard, a couple preaching humility while shimmering in couture and excess.
Right. Well, look at her left hand. The way that's stuck up like that.
Yes.
If you don't have something to do with your hands, then you just look goofy walking out. You look like that person behind her. It's like a normal person.
It felt less like a humanitarian mission and more like a Hollywood premiere. So, what's really happening behind those grand Montecito mansion gates? Insiders paint a picture that's equal parts glitter and gloom. Reports say the couple now live separate lives under the same roof. Meghan spends her days networking, on calls with PR teams, and mapping out her next public move. Meanwhile, Harry prefers quiet moments, long walks, audiobooks, and time with the kids once the cameras stop rolling.
This is where you actually see her not being, and people go, I knew I didn't like her, and see, and so you can point at that and say, because they know it makes everyone else uncomfortable as well, because it doesn't look natural.
They're not screaming at each other, one source explained. They're just disconnected. Even their closest friends have reportedly felt the emotional chill between them. Meghan has returned to her high-profile brunches with LA power players, while Harry is barely seen in public. And when he is, one guest described him perfectly, he looks like he's surviving, not living. Some insiders whisper about quiet talks of a trial separation, though no one expects a divorce announcement anytime soon. They're too entangled in image, money, and reputation to walk away cleanly. So for now, they keep smiling for the cameras, but when the lights fade, that silence says everything. It began as a love story bold enough to challenge a kingdom. A prince who walked away from his royal life for the woman he adored, and a woman who swore she wanted to change the world right by his side. But that fairy tale glow has dimmed, replaced by exhaustion, quiet resentment, and a growing sense of regret that no crown could ever fix. Insiders now describe their relationship as more like professional roommates than partners. They show up at events when duty calls, smile for the cameras, and then quietly retreat to their separate corners of the world. Meghan keeps chasing new deals and headlines, while Harry searches for peace and purpose. And yet, no matter how far they drift, something invisible keeps them bound. A mix of love, image, and everything they can't escape. Not from each other, and not from the empire they built. They can't escape it. They're locked inside a golden cage, dazzling on the outside, but suffocating on the inside. As one insider said, they're trapped in the brand they created. The real tragedy isn't just that they drifted apart, it's that they can't stop performing, not even for themselves. So when the next glossy photo appears, or the next perfect video shouting, "Look how in love we are," remember this: what you're seeing isn't a marriage, it's a mirage built for the spotlight. A story rehearsed 1,000 times, now fading a little more with every blinding camera flash. Once upon a time, they swore they'd escape the crown to find freedom, to live on their own terms. But in chasing the spotlight, they built a glittering throne of their own. And now, the cracks are starting to show for everyone to see. And as whispers from insiders suggest, the show is far from over. Not by a long shot.